Welcome, everyone. Thank you for listening. This is Michi Liazzi, the Communications and Policy Manager for the Taxpayers Protection Alliance. Welcome to our new show that we're doing exclusively for our postal reform website. This is going to be a semi-monthly show. We're going to be talking about some topics that we're covering on postal reform, and this is the first episode of it. And in this episode, I interviewed TPA President David Williams to talk about the new postal reform website. Hope you enjoy. Okay, now it's my pleasure to welcome back to the show, as always, TPA President David Williams. David, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Michi.
What I wanted to bring you on today was to talk about a new site that TPA just launched on the issue of United States Postal Service reform. So we launched the website late last week, and it focuses on reforming the USPS. Can you tell us really quick a little bit about the new website?
Yeah, so the new website, we've done a lot of work on the United States Postal Service in the past, and a lot of our work has been, let's say, fractured. We do something here, something there on vehicles, the vehicle procurement, on Board of Governors, the leadership, grocery delivery. So what we wanted to do was to bring it all together into one website. And we also wanted to reach out to other groups because there's a lot of great work that's being done by other groups out there, free market and taxpayer groups that are talking about postal service. And really, what we want to do is expose the problems with the Postal Service, but also we want to provide solutions. And if you go to postalreformforus.org, you'll see that that's our
catchy name.
It's a catchy name, and
that was David's creation.
That's kind of our motto: is exposing problems, providing solutions, and we mean that because
nobody wants the post office to go away.
Exactly. So what we're trying to do is we want to make them more financially stable and just address some of the issues that are really bringing down the post office at this point. And we do have a new blog post up there on the postal website about the temporary increase in the cost of first-class mail, and
that's right.
Would encourage people to go to the website and read that blog post about what's happened, the latest of what's happening with the Postal Service.
So we're going to be rolling content as we go along. I just put up something from one of our partner groups up there. It was an old post, but we've got new and old content coming because we want the site to have all kinds of content from many of the groups. You talk about the issues. Let's kind of get into that a little bit. What are the specific issues that we're going to be looking at on this website when we talk about reforming the USPS?
So as I mentioned, there are going to be a number of issues we're going to talk about and address on the website. One of them really is the leadership.
Yep.
At the Postal Service. And this is where it all begins for the Postal Service, is their Board of Governors. And the Board of Governors really is it's just like a board of directors for a company or an organization. But the Board of Governors is really supposed to provide the leadership at the Postal Service. So when they lose $5 billion a year, which they lost last year, and they've lost tens of billions of dollars over the number of years, they can address and look at, what's happening, why is this happening, but also provide solutions for how to fix the problems, and whether it's getting rid of Saturday delivery, and other
consolidation of the post office buildings,
consolidation of the post office buildings. So the Board of Governors, and they're missing a lot of members.
Yeah, that's the thing. That it's a group of 9, plus you've got the 3 people: the Postmaster General, the Comptroller, and the President. But the
I think
question
there's
is
6 vacancies now.
6 vacancies.
Yeah.
Now, who fills those vacancies? The President appoints, but this is Senate confirmation, correct?
Right, Senate confirmation.
Okay. So we've got half the board gone, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
And more than half of the actual nominated members. People have to be picked and choose by the Senate. So this is critical because if you don't have a full slate of a Board of Governors, there's a lot of opportunities missed for that leadership and accountability.
And you just can't put random people on the board. You need people that have good private sector experience, that know business, and that can really go in there and fix what's happening with the Postal Service. Because when we say fix, it is broken. And you look at the finances. I alluded to this earlier. They're losing billions of dollars every year, and it's just accumulating more and more every year. So there needs to be a wholesale change in how the Postal Service operates and what they're doing.
Yeah, it can't be that just place filling posts where they're just sitting there not doing anything because the agency is in need. Now another issue that is that we talk about there, which I do want to just mention really quick, is mission creep. Can you tell us just a little bit what that means? And that really just comes in when we talk about the extra services that the post office should be providing, but how that bleeds into the actual service that the post office needs to do, correct?
So mission creep is that we're concerned that the post office is getting involved in areas of business that they shouldn't. Grocery delivery.
Financial services,
right. And grocery delivery, we've talked about this before, I think on previous podcasts, but if not, just a quick reminder is that the post office wants to deliver groceries to you. They want to deliver it between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. in the morning, which is extremely it's not conducive to really anybody except if you're doing a morning talk show, if you're a radio host. But so, we've been talking about grocery delivery.
A subset of the American population.
Right.
Basically.
And so I just noticed last month that there's a new app called Instacart where you can order groceries, and I think it's like a $3 charge, and you get to set up the time that it gets delivered to your house.
Now, this is just private. This is not the post office.
This is not the post office. This is private industry already taking care of this. Obviously, we have some of the bigger supermarkets.
Giant, Peapod. Safeway has their own thing here.
Exactly. Harris Teeter has something. So, but this is now an app. The private sector came up with a solution for an app called Instacart. And I don't have any financial interest in Instacart.
What you're saying is, there's competition already.
There's competition, and competition is a lot better because you get to pick out your actual groceries that you want, the brand, and the time that it gets delivered.
I might have to get that Instacart now.
Actually, it's really convenient.
I might have to. We're not pushing Instacart, people, but the point is that now this is a partnership, though, that the USPS is involved in with Amazon. And the other problem here is that the USPS has a monopoly in terms of the fact that they have their vehicles and they're paid for by the taxpayer.
Yep.
The gas and fuel that's used is paid for by the taxpayer. So now you're giving Amazon a leg up on this that other private sector companies who are doing this don't have. And that's the other problem. So not only should they not be involved in it, they're wasting money and resources provided by the taxpayer, and it's specifically helping one private sector company.
Right, and they're commingling the package delivery with the mail delivery. So we don't know if
what's prioritized.
What's prioritized and what's a profit and what's making money and what isn't.
And they won't release those figures, by the way.
They refuse to release those figures. And we've heard there's some whistleblower sites where some whistleblowers at the Postal Service are saying that their supervisors, their managers are saying, deliver packages first, then deliver mail. So it seems to me that, and it seems to a lot of people, that their priority are the packages and not what they're supposed to do, and that's to deliver the mail every day to every household. And another advantage that the Postal Service has is that they have the mailbox. That UPS, FedEx are not allowed to put anything in that mailbox. The Postal Service is, and they have a monopoly on that space in that mailbox.
And that mailbox is for mail, not for groceries.
Right.
Now,
I don't know if you want to shove a gallon of milk into a mail slot. That might be a little messy.
We could certainly try. So now next I want to ask about the website. There is a section which is still coming together because it's a new website, people, but we want everybody to go because we like to have feedback too. There is blogs and there's video there. Now this other section is called Partners. Can you tell us a little bit about the Partners section, which will be populated soon? We're working on that as we speak.
So, as I mentioned, we're looking for other groups to help with this and to provide content, information, and to be our partners. So far, we have Americans for Tax Reform. They're a partner. We have the National Taxpayers Union, Pete Sepp, and the folks over there. They're also a partner on this website. And we have R Street, the R Street Institute, a great free market think tank, and they'll be providing different op-eds and material. Hopefully,
we're going to have them on as guests because we're going to do a limited podcast. This is the initial one that we're using to talk about the website, but we'll have mini podcasts too for the USPS.
So we've reached out to a number of folks, and we're hoping that they also join as partners because there's a lot of information out there, and we want to get that information to taxpayers, to people who send mail, if anyone is sending mail these days, and also
I just sent something yesterday,
and also Congress. We want this message to be sent to Congress that what we're doing. So hopefully, joining with these other groups that have great membership numbers, will help us spread the word on the Postal Service.
Now, I want to look into the future a little bit because we talked about what the website's about and what issues we focused on. looking at 2016 this year and this issue in particular, USPS reform, what can we expect? And not just because we've talked about what TPA is doing, but what can we expect? What kind of issues are going to be out there on the table for groups like us to be working on and for members who are listening to really be concerned about?
Well, I think we're going to continue with our Board of Governors, overall postal reform, the vehicle purchase, which we didn't talk about.
Huge issue.
Huge issue. Could save taxpayers $2 billion over about 20 years in the procurement of new vehicles, because the Postal Service, they do need new vehicles.
And that covers basically more than they're losing in a quarter.
Right. So this is a way that they can purchase the new vehicles that they need and save $2 billion. But they have been hesitant to look at these recommendations and to proceed with saving the $2 billion. So, kind of self-inflicted wounds when you have an opportunity to save $2 billion, but I don't want to get too far afield.
Same thing with Saturday delivery.
Right. Right. So in maybe a future podcast, we can get into more detail about the vehicles and the Saturday delivery and some of these ideas. But so that's what we hope to accomplish. Now, what will be accomplished? Well, that's really our job, is to get Congress to do something, hold hearings. There's got to be oversight. We've talked to a couple of senators' offices, and we're hoping to get their attention on this issue. So I think there's, Congress isn't going to be in session a lot this year. But I'm going to say that we're not asking for a heavy lift right now. We're looking for oversight hearings. So we're not looking for necessarily a bill to be passed, because that's a heavy lift in a year, in an election year when there's not a lot of time. But there still needs to be more attention to this, and we're hoping Congress starts asking the questions. It can't just be us. It has to be Congress.
Absolutely. It has to be a team effort all around to get the leadership and accountability in place to actually act on those reforms that can save money and be meaningful for those depending on the USPS to actually do their job and deliver the mail.
Yep.
So finally, before you get out of here, I know we talked about it, but just once again before we go, can you tell everyone where they can find the new website?
We're at postalreformforus.org. And
all one word.
All one word. And you'll go on, you'll see just all the material that we've written on this. And there are ways to contact us if you have any questions, or if you're a postal whistleblower and you want to let us know of something you've seen or heard, please contact us. You can contact us on the website. And also be sure to visit our partner site. So when you go to our site, be sure to visit National Taxpayers Union, Americans for Tax Reform, R Street Institute.
And more to come, too.
And more to come, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Dave, for coming on the show again and giving us that update. And we will be keeping a lookout for the site and seeing all the new content that's going up on it.
Thanks, Michi.
All right, that's it for our inaugural episode. Keep look on the website where we'll be having some more of these from week to week, and we'll be discussing different topics that we're going to be doing and covering on the Postal Reform website. Thanks.